Okay, moving on with the last few questions. When the game is a backstory, is it good to have backstory that is linear or have choices like a what if scenario?
That is an excellent question. So, obviously, you want everything to end at the same point to set up the next thing. What was the first thing? Telltale games have this thing where no matter what choice you pick, it will be invalidated because another event will happen to make you end up at the same point anyway. Do you save her or do you save him? If you save him, she will die later. If you save her, he will die later in a very similar way to make you end up at the same point. But when it comes to a prequel, I'm going to say that I'm going to use Brotherly Bond as an example here, being a prequel. Things have to end a certain way, so you can't really have many branching paths unless you say, I want to go here first, or I'd rather go here. I'll go here so I can attend this event and get this scene, but we'll end up at the same point where both branching paths will converge anyway. But I think you want engagement from the player, so you don't want it to be just a solely linear, I'm just watching this start to finish like a PlayStation exclusive game that's 70% cutscene. But I think you can have choices that actually don't matter to just give the player some illusion of control. Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I spoke of earlier, did this, where your two choices were true or true with an ellipsis after it. It's just basically like, yeah, true or true. It had no bearing on anything. It's a choice given to the player, because if they didn't give the player a choice, they would have to voice the line, and Byleth doesn't really speak in dialogue. He speaks in battle quotes. So Persona did that too. Choices that don't matter so that they can give the player some input and they don't have to voice a line for the player character during the dialogue. But you can have choices that don't matter to get player engagement. You don't have to have branching paths because you need to end up at the same point anyway. A what-if scenario is fun because Persona 4 Arena did that, where you can, especially in Chie's story, Chie is one that I can remember because it stuck out to me, is do you go after the beef bowl and you get a silly ending, or do you resist the beef bowl and you continue with what the canonical story of Arena is? You can have those where you just have a silly branch path to a quick and silly ending and you return back to the choice. That is possible. But choices don't have to have lasting consequences to be fun. They can just be a way for the player to stay engaged with the narrative. But you can also offer an option where you just automatically let the story play start to finish and they can just watch it like a movie. Both are very viable.
Yeah, because I was just like, give them fake options or no options at all. That's the real thing. It's just like then
the illusion of choice.
Exactly, illusionary choice.
Yeah.
It's just
you can
like,
do it both ways.
Be like the same answer, same
answer,
same results. They're like, what's the difference? There wasn't any.
There is one that I remember. Skyrim, actually. Skyrim, I think it was Dawnguard, speaking with Serana, where Serana asks the player what their relationship with their parents is. You could say, I love my parents, I can't wait to see them again, I never knew my parents, or I don't have a very good relationship with my parents. And you're just making reality whatever you want it to be in that moment based on your choice. It has no bearing on the story, it's just a way to get the player engaged. But they are very different options instead of just being true or true.
I see. Is emotional turmoil or trauma for a character necessary to give them, or it's not always necessary to give them depth?
It's not necessary to give them depth, but if you do hold something back, it's not so much that you're holding back trauma or turmoil and you're trauma dumping later, but if you're holding something back from your first impression of the character or what you know about the character and reveal it later as it becomes relevant to make them open up a little bit, that creates a sense of vulnerability where there's more to this person than I initially thought, and I wasn't just given everything outright. You can use emotional turmoil or trauma as that piece that you withhold until the appropriate time to reveal it to develop the character, but it's not always necessary for it to be trauma or turmoil to accomplish that.
Yeah, because like Ty and Michelangelo don't have any trauma, so I feel like that's why they're kind of on the bottom of the of the like lovable options, because there isn't like another layer to them. So like when we're making brotherly it's like, do we really give Michelangelo this much trauma like to better serve his character, or like do we go a different route to be like, no, he's just really just that guy?
I don't think Michelangelo really needs trauma or turmoil, because in his route, just having him open up about his passions of art is enough to bring something to the table that wasn't there in the first place. You knew he liked art, but when you get to explore the depths of how much he likes art with him, like at the museum, where I think another interview you spoke about, somebody spoke about how it feels like Michelangelo kind of forgets this was a date and he's just a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, dumb.
Yeah. It's beautiful to see someone really share their passion with you. And I feel like Michelangelo is a good route for, he doesn't trauma dump on you. He doesn't have this sob story. It's just, wow, he's really passionate about this. And I'm so glad that he trusts me enough to share this passion. He finds me worth his time enough to open his heart to how much he loves this one particular topic. I find that to be beautiful.
Yeah, because I feel like well, I guess the twins do kind of have the whole backstory with Layla, but it's more connected to Layla, and so it's not really like Ty talks about it. It's Layla talks about it in a different route. So like it's like, you know, when you go with Ty, because you said you like how Arya and Ty interact, but it's in a different route. I think it's in the Michelangelo route.
Yeah.
And it's like, but his route is just like him just playing sports or something like that. It's just like, where's the substance?
I mean, I think Ty's just a fun guy to hang out with. He's different from the others in the sense that he's just a dude. He's just a bro. He's just a fun bro,
What's up, bro?
to hang out with. He's not hiding anything from you. He's not going to just hit you with a wallop of emotion later. It's just, this is a guy that you can hang out with, and he's fun to be around, which is a good thing to have. That makes him distinct from the rest of the cast. I like that about him.
Do you think it would have been more, he should have been the one to bring up the backstory, or it's like it was right for Layla to bring it up?
I think it's right for Layla to bring it up, because I'm trying to remember exactly how it was initiated, because I remember it was at the coffee shop in Ty's route when Layla talks to Arya about what happened at the concert. But I think that was also a moment for Layla to open up about some things in her past that she once saw as an insecurity, like what people thought were tattoos but were actually scars. And she opened up more about how she kind of overcame this trauma that she induced from that through the lightheartedness of the twins saying, those are just really cool tattoos, and getting tattoos themselves. I like that. That's fun. I think it was appropriate for Layla to bring it up.
Someone said, please don't get a tattoo same day. Do some research. I'm just like, I mean, I would prefer if you don't get tattoos at all. But it was kind of just like an anime moment. It's like, I'm going to get a tattoo. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. Yeehaw.
It is the impulsive decision that they would make.
I think you mentioned how important it is for major characters to interact with one another. Why people only see Damien and Ethan with Arya and the other guys to get shipped with everyone else. That was one of the questions you had. Like, would you want to prefer more of the guys and girls interacting with each other, or more the bros interacting with each other?
We see a lot of the girls interacting with each other, and that makes sense given that the story is told from a girl's perspective, so we get to see a lot of that. But I think I think the game could benefit from having the guys interact with one another, say Silver and Ethan a little more, maybe even Damien and Ty. I don't know how that dynamic would go, but seeing how we're seeing this from Arya's perspective, she would not really be made privy to those kinds of meetings, which I can understand. And we're kind of told about them secondhand through Ethan knows Silver and they're close friends through very unconventional means. But we see girls interacting with girls, guys interacting with guys. I'm sorry, said that backwards. We see girls interacting with girls, guys interacting with girls, like Damien and Layla in Ty's route. Or not Ty's route, Michelangelo's route. And we don't get to see a lot of guys interacting with guys because guys act a certain way around other guys when girls aren't around, but there's always another girl around the player. So we don't get to see that.
I remember you talking about how you're like, you could tell this was written by a woman, because you saw a video about written by a woman. Guys are cheaters.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like one of the traits of gosh, I keep fumbling over how I say that. It's a video about traits in a book that scream a woman wrote this. And one of them that was listed was when every unnamed side character is a cheater. Or the sole morality of a character is their sexual fidelity. Where, like, one of the traits of a guy totally wrote this is they do not understand female anatomy. But the counterpart to that is the sole morality of a female character is their appearance. Where the bad women are always ugly, the good women are always good looking, and saying that a woman is way past her prime is a nice way of saying she was once pretty, but now she's older, but she's still a good character. It's one of those.
When you read Brotherly Bond, do you feel like it feels like it's written by, well, you know it's written by me, but do you feel that sense like it's written by a girl or guy?
Oh, I need to review the list and like make a check. I have to do the test, checkbox test of this, because I can say as a guy, one of the traits of a guy wrote this is, do you have two unnamed women that talk about anything other than how they like a guy? I can't remember what the... Oh, yeah. The female equivalent of that that screams a woman wrote this is that the guys interact with other guys is more like girls interacting with girls, where they're like lifting each other up, they're talking positively, they're being emotional with each other. Guys don't do that.
Yeah, that's literally what I was trying to get across. And I was just like, I wonder if I got that across, because
you did, because the guys rib on each other. They don't talk about anything really deep or emotional or about their feelings. It's just they're dudes being dudes, poking fun at each other, taking some jabs, just being stupid. That's guy-to-guy interaction.
Because I know in Artist's Choice, that's why they hated the twins, is because they feel like they're boys talking to boys, like, bro.
They are having guy-to-guy interactions in the presence of women.
Yeah.
And they're the only ones that do that, so they stand out as really goofy dudes because they're embracing the goofy thing guys do when guys are alone.
With Artist's Choice, do you feel like it has been written by male or female? Well, you know it's been written by multiple people, but like, do you really feel the sense of like it has multiple thoughts behind it because of, like, you know, the dialogue and whatnot?
I do, because it feels like every route has a lead writer and some sub-writers that worked on it, where not every route feels like it's written the same way, there are some traits in some routes that don't appear in others. I can't think of any specifics right now, but it does feel like a team of writers, or at least a head writer, some people doing some assistance with the writing, then an editing team that makes it feel like it's not written by one person. Because you see that in a lot of fan fictions where it's clearly written by one person that can't really think beyond themselves.
I think in Brotherly Bond we need to start adding the two guys, unknown guys and unknown girls talking about boys and girls.
Oh yeah. The two unknown girls talking about how they like a guy, and the unnamed guy that's just a cheater.
Yep. Just start adding them. They're like, you almost had it. I'll be like, that's the point.
Keep them guessing, not because the writing is so good, but because you use so many bad traits coming from both genders that they can't tell who wrote it.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much for your time. I hope you had a great interview. We learned.
This was fun.
We learned to write the worst things to get people's interest in it.
Keep them guessing by injecting as many bad tropes as you can.
Exactly.
Never tell.
And that's how we got the audience.
And that's how we got Arya's Choice.
Exactly. Well, everyone, this is JJBEATS. I hope you guys have a good one. I'm signing out. Bye-bye.